Good early morning. Today we're going to talk about uh, how you avoid mistakes to get your license. So, this will be a great option for us, how to avoid mistakes uh, during your license. So, let's go ahead and get it and talk about it. This is Driving with Myles. I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. I've been doing driver's ed 21 years. One of my students suggested I go ahead and put together a YouTube program. So it's been awesome, a lot of support. I just want to thank all of you who are supporting me. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing you want to do is relax. You've put in a lot of work to prepare you for your road test. You've studied your knowledge test. You've had parents help you. You've had your best friends help you. You've had your relatives help you. You will be stressed when you go to take your test. I'm not even going to lie to you. It is a stressful moment in your life. Your heart's pounding. But at the same point in time, it's an opportunity for a new life. And you have to take it. We all go through it. Every single person you see driving goes through this process of taking their test, being assessed by a tester, and fingers crossed, you pass. So relax. You got to know the basics. Okay. You have to know how to make a lane change. You have to know how to check your blind spot. You need to know how to merge on a freeway, off a freeway. You have to do some type of parallel park maneuver, whether it's just parking uphill, downhill, reverse parallel parking, U turns, 3-point turns. All countries, every place around the world has some type of an assessment to assess where you are as a driver. So you've got to work those basic skill sets, whether it's in a parking lot, in your driveway, up north, out in the country. You have got to work those basic maneuvers and be solid at good speed control, making good decisions, and being consistent. Practice will make perfect. If you practice consistently, you'll get consistent results. And that's a word to the wise. Just like me in my industry, I have to practice my skill sets. I've got to get out there and work with my students. I'm out on the road with my students. I'm going through my fundamentals. I'm teaching them to do those head checks. I'm teaching them to check that blind spot. I'm teaching them to have good spacing. I'm teaching them to have good speed control. You've got to practice. If you go in there, the failure rate is anywhere from 30 to 40%. Now, you could get lucky. Anyone could get lucky, but you have to practice your skills. If you don't, you're risking failing. Always buckle up. Always have your seatbelt on to control yourself in the event of an accident. That should be the first thing you should do once you get into the car. Put on that seatbelt, show that DMV tester, road tester that you're serious about safety, you're serious about ensuring them, and let them know. Could you please put on your seatbelt? When you tell them that, that makes them feel good. I like my students to tell me, can you please put in your seatbelt? And I tell them that, and they get bonus points. So let your DMV instructor know, your road tester know. Can you please put on your seatbelt? That tells them, wow, you're on top of your game. Take notice of the details. Make sure your seat is adjusted properly. Make sure your mirrors are properly aligned. Make sure that car is clean, smelling good, looking good. Wash it. Okay, no one wants to get into a dirty, nasty car. Make sure your windows are clean. And if it's the car you've been practicing with, that's the car you need to take to the road test. It's really important that you feel extremely comfortable. And those details could be looking ahead as far as you can. Those details could be you ensuring that you want to go from that learner's permit to an actual license, right? So those things are important. So you have to, the small details, wearing comfortable shoes, those are important things that you have to be aware of. Wearing comfortable clothes, making sure you're properly hydrated, getting a good night's rest, and arriving early, a half an hour early, minimum 20 minutes early. If you can get there 45 minutes early, you can make sure the car is clean. You at least have to have a quarter of a tank of gas. You want to kind of know the flow of the traffic, and then you can feel good. And make sure you have all your legal documents with you. Be punctual. The number one reason why people speed is because they're late. So if you're late, you're going to be stressed. And the road testers have a schedule every 45 minutes, every 55 minutes, every 65 minutes. And because of COVID, this has thrown the whole process off. You're probably going to have to go online, make an appointment, call. Then you're going to have to verify, are we still having the test today? What time do I need to be there? For me, I like to, when it comes to gas pedal, you need to have the ball of your foot. I like to have my students have most of their foot on the gas pedal. You want to pivot your foot. You want to be comfortable. A thin sole shoe, because a lot of times a wider shoe, I've seen it get caught between the pedals. Floor mats. So those small things make a difference, because I've seen mistakes happen. I've seen students hit the gas pedal instead of the brake, hit the brake instead of the gas. You're going to be nervous. You might get a cramp in your foot, because these things, they may seem trivial, but they do happen. Let me go ahead and let the dog out. Come on. Go ahead. Okay. So that placement is super important, because you got to be comfortable. All right. You're already going to be stressed because you have a stranger in your car, your mom or dad's in the back, your guardian's in the back. So you want to pivot your foot. I have a size 14, so I pivot my foot. Some of you may have to pick up your foot, move it from the brake to the gas, and you want to make sure, let's pretend this is the brake. I've had some students have the tip of their foot on the side of the brake. You won't be able to stop. You want to make sure your foot is in the center and have the ball of your brake. This is like the ball of my hand. Have the ball of your foot pushing that brake. And that's really important. Got to be punctual. Got to feel good. You're going to be nervous. It's going to feel like you got to go to the bathroom. Your mom or dad's going to be hyped. You're going to be hyped. You got to have all your paperwork ready. I've seen it. I've been there, right? Learn to indicate. The biggest offense that I see as a person in the traffic industry is people not using their blinkers. If you've looked at my content, and I'm safe when I video in the car and I'm by myself, people don't use blinkers. It's very confusing. It's confusing for experienced drivers, and an experienced driver is someone over 10 years. Hey, how you doing, Sean? What's going on? Pump me up, Sean. Give me that thumbs up. I love the support. And Sean, just for an example, is, our 2021 driver. He's a driver. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. And when you have the support of your community, that's what it's all about. Sean has seen me do this his whole life, working, but I'm passionate about it. And we'll get a chance to, Sean, we'll get you in the car. We'll talk about it. But stay on a few minutes. Tell some of your friends to pop in. I know you're subscribing, so let some of your friends know, right? It's all about conversation. But, let's use Sean as an example. He's a young man that'll be driving soon. He's kind of seeing me during the process, and it's about safety, right? It's about helping the next generation, just like Sean, become that safe driver, become ready for 2021, because there are going to be new requirements, a lot more practice. COVID has really slowed the process down, paperwork procedures. So indicate, use your blinker. In neighborhoods, you got to use your blinker. There are kids out playing. When you turn from your side street onto the main road, use your blinker. When you're turning into the gas station, use your blinker. When you're going into a mall to park, use your blinker. That's the biggest offense I see, and it's kind of confusing because it catches you off guard. You don't want to be caught off guard when you're driving. You want to know, okay, I know what this car is doing. They're merging off. They're pulling out in front of me. They're making a lane change. And you will get a deduction if you don't use your blinker. Practice your reversing skills. I've done some tutorials on reverse parallel parking. I've done tutorials on reversing out of your driveway. You can't rely on your backup camera. You've got to look over your left and right shoulder when you back up, because if you rely on that backup camera, you're going to miss kids to the left and right. We have neighbors. They're little kids who are 2, 3, and 4. They don't realize the danger of an automobile. They don't realize this is a 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 pound machine that could injure them. So you got to be really careful. If you see little toys or dogs or anything out there, you've got to go slow. You've got to cover that brake, roll out slow, and be careful. Practice reversing in parking lots. Practice going past your driveway and reversing in. I have my students reverse parallel park consistently. I have my students reverse into driveways all the time. Go to that parking lot with that freshly painted parking lines and park and steer and work on those fundamentals. Remember 9 and 3. I know there's a lot of discussion about hand placement on the steering wheel. 9 and 3, you want to keep your thumbs off the center where the airbag is. Merry Christmas. Hey, thank you. You want to have your thumbs off of the airbag. We know those airbags are there to protect us, but also you can break your thumbs if you have a smaller sibling in the front, if all seats are full in the back, and this is from state to state or province to province. You can put that younger sibling, your cousin, because imagine it's Christmas. Let's pretend Sean is driving. And let's pretend G. Billy is driving. Hey, go get your cousin. Okay. You go borrow your uncle's, say, Camaro, right? And it's a 2019 Camaro. It's, 10 speed. It's the SS model. You're not used to that car. So when you're going around the corner, you're going to tap that gas real hard. You're going to hit those brakes hard, but that's your uncle's car. He is trusting you. Your auntie is trusting you with it, right? They've been watching you grow up. Oh, yeah, you can drive the car. Come on over to the house. We'll go out to the park. And that's part of the relationship. I have my uncles. They would do that all the time. So you got to be prepared for those things. And, Christmas holidays are fun, but they're also very stressful. And then you're going to be going to go get your cousins. Go to the east side. Go get your 5 cousins. Here's $50. Keep the change. That's what your uncles do. That's what your aunties do, right? They take care of you. They spoil you. And then you go to their house in the summer and then you hang out. They take you driving. They spoil you because they love you. That's when you have a big family. I have all girl cousins. I'm the firstborn in the family. So I understand that. So hand placement is really important. You don't want to palm the steering wheel. If you palm the steering wheel, you're going to lose control. You don't want to turn it underhand. If you turn it underhand, you're going to lose control. And a lot of times beginning drivers cut that turn too short, you're going to go over the curb. And you don't want to tell your uncle, I scratched one of your rims, right? You want to be honest with your uncle, and your uncle will look at you before your mom and dad do, like, what's going on? Everything's okay. Your uncle will smile, or your auntie will smile, right? And they're the ones who really love you and take care of you, and that's what relationships are about. Let's go ahead and get to number 10. Ease on the gas pedal. One person said at the beginning, Ty, that would be the death of me. So look, that's true though, because if you slam that gas, the car's going to take off. I've had students do it that first drive out of the parking lot. I see them growing up. Or you make a right turn on a major thoroughfare, they slam that gas. And that's really scary. Or they slam the brake, because if you look at it, a pedal is just about this big, a brake pedal, and a gas pedal. Don't laugh at my phone. I got the Galaxy. But pedals are long pieces of plastic, and they're computer controlled. They're not like the cars of the 80s, 70s, and 60s where there's a larger pedal and there's a piece of steel or aluminum wire or cable that actually goes to the carburetor. Cars are computer controlled. So if you slam the gas, some cars will take off. So you have to feel that pedal. So that's why I'm suggesting you wear thin sole shoes. A lot of kids, wear the Converse are the number one shoe, and I'm not endorsed by them. This is from experience. Converse are really thin sole shoes. You can feel that pedal. You can pivot between the brake and gas. A lot of kids wear the skateboarding shoes. They're fine, but they're really thick. You can't feel the pedal. So pedal feel is extremely important, right? So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I'm going to kind of wrap it up. So what I did, we together, and I'm blessed, we talked about the elements of how to avoid some of the common mistakes that you're going to make on your road test. Let's review. You're going to gently be on that gas pedal, right? You're not going to hit it hard. You're going to remember 9 and 3 or 10 and 2. Hand over hand into the turn, hand over hand out. We're doing a quick review. Practice your reversing skills. Practice backing in the driveway. I always backed in the driveway. My son saw me back in. Um, I taught him. He always backs in. My daughter saw my son and I back in. She backs in some, but mainly she pulls in. My wife pulls in. But when you back in, you learn how to turn that wheel, get the rear of the car in. You make those small steering adjustments. You look left, you look right, and then you back up straight because you don't want to back on your parents' grass. You don't want that. Um, Practice the art of indicating. Use your blinker. When you're pulling in your driveway, use your blinker. When you're coming up to the end of your street, making that right or left turn on a major thoroughfare, use your blinker. Build those good habits. That's one of the most common offenses I see students do all the time, and adults do. It's just crazy. Um, be punctual, because if you're going to leave late, you're going to speed. The number one reason why people speed is because they're late. Leave early. Take notice of the details. Clean your windows. Make sure the car is clean. Have comfortable clothes on. Always buckle up. Safety's no accident, right? You got to have that seatbelt on. And by you telling that road tester, DMV tester, can you please buckle up? Wow, this person's serious. I feel good about myself. And then they might be a little bit more lenient on you, right? Practice makes perfect. Work that parallel parking. Work that reverse parallel parking. Work on those three-point turns. Work on merging on the freeway. Work on those left-hand turns. Work on hand over hand in, hand over hand out. Know the basics. Know how to put gas in your car. I take students having to put gas in the car. We go through drive-throughs, go through car washes. They're like, thank you. You need to know how to do these things. Your parents might not show you. You have to know what side the gas tank is on, and I'll do a tutorial on that. And then be relaxed, because you're going to be hyped. You're going to be nervous. Be relaxed. I want to say Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank you all for just taking the time to listen to me. I appreciate you. I have some really exciting things coming up in the next couple of days in terms of really good in-car camera content. I just want to say thank you. Please subscribe to my channel. What should I do if I can't merge into the freeway and it's not clear? Well, if you're on a testing situation, number one, you have to practice consistently. If you can't merge in, you're going to have to pull over to the right. That's one of the worst things that you can do, because now you have traffic at 55, 60, 70, and a lot of people will not let you in. So that's the worst case scenario. If it's not clear, you got to keep picking up speed, 55, 57, 62, 63, and look for a gap. You got to keep going. You don't want to ride on the shoulder, but you've got to get up that speed. And that's happened to me a lot of times with my students. They panic, they lift their foot on the ramp, and I look over my shoulder and I see a semi-truck. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, there's a semi-truck. But I don't do that to my students, because they're going to panic. They're going to lift their foot. So you got to look for that gap, and then you've got to accelerate. And that's what that acceleration lane, that's what that ramp is for. It's a quick glance. You don't want to look and turn the wheel like this, because you're going to jerk the car over the road. That is a great question, DJS. Keep the questions coming. I appreciate the thumbs up. I want you to know that I'm here as a resource for all of you. I'm not just some person or computer. You know, I'm a dad, I'm a human, I'm extremely social. And if you don't know, I am on TikTok, the funny guy _2. I'm at 3.4 million likes, and I'm at 212,000 followers. So the numbers have went up. So I'm blessed. And like I said, my daughter's my agent. And ask me questions. I'm a resource for you. I want you to learn. And once you know that I'm here as a resource, the numbers will keep going up. Keep asking questions. You've got to practice merging, DJS. And if you hesitate and you see that big truck, of course you're going to lift your foot, because you don't want to get ran over. But semi-trucks do see you. They are trying not to run you over. If they can't get over, they'll flash your lights. They'll honk their horn. That's an extreme situation, right? And you don't want to get caught up in that. So the moral of the story is, you've got to start as soon as you get in that ramp. 35, 37, 40, 42, 45, 47, 52. You got to get on that gas. You can't let up. You want to get out there smoothly, effectively. And when you practice merging, It's consistent. I have some good content on that. I will do some more content. I have some new equipment that I can't wait to use. Um, and I might post a video tonight. It's this raw footage, and I want your opinion. Is it okay to slow down a bit in a gap? It depends on how far traffic is. A gap, and I looked this up. A gap is the space between you. Example: phone, remote. Gap is the space. When you're pulling out from a gas station or a neighborhood, what is the best way to overcome the fear of driving for the first time? You need to drive during afternoons, early mornings, after 6:30 or 7. It's chilled. People are relaxed. You have to find that chill time. That's a good place to drive. I take my students to the mall. We drive around the outside ring. I'm giving you some secrets here, some tips and tricks. Drive to the mall. Drive around that outside ring. What are you going to get? You're going to get two-way stops. You're going to get three-way stops. You're going to get four-way stops. You're going to get the rules of the right of way. But a lot of people don't follow those rules. I think I have some content on this channel. How do you know when you're ready to drive on the road? When you're not as nervous, when you understand about yellow lights and you're not running them, vents, when you are able to merge an expressway with minimal fear, you're always going to have that fear, right? Even me, I've been driving a very long time. If I come down too slow and I'm not focused, a truck is coming, my heart is like, right? It happens to all of us. So don't think I'm just sitting there like I'm good. Every day you get out there, when you make a left turn and you judge distance safely, you don't want to hit anyone. You don't want anyone to hit you. When you're making smooth left turns, nice hand over hand right turns. When you communicate to someone, I'm going to yield and let you go. My DMV doesn't indicate the test since COVID. Yes, now that's bad and good. Let's just get right to it. Because of COVID, and this has been across the YouTube platform when people have come in, and I like that. And then on the TikTok platform, where I have obviously over 200,000 people, get your people over here and have them subscribe to me, please. That's bad and good. Look, they can't hold up the progress of hundreds and thousands of people getting their permit. Let's pretend DJS, you're 17. You went through the knowledge test. You passed that. You just got to do the road test. Well, they set it up in the parking lot. You're going to do some parking. Thank you. You're going to do some parking. Give it a thumbs up. You're going to do some parking. Parallel parking, angle parking, stall parking, three-point turnarounds. They may have you back into some cones and get that part done. They may have you go through a neighborhood, make a right turn, make a left turn, maybe one quick merge on the expressway, and then that's it. It's an opportunity because during your lifetime, you're going to get practice merging on the expressway. It doesn't stop. Let's pretend, I took my test. I don't have to merge on anymore the rest of my life. That is so untrue. You're going to be merging on the rest of your life. I have some content of where my son and I went to Iowa, a whole new adventure, right? I've been into the country before, but 6 feet down was a ditch. We were up on the road, and if you go off the road, the ditch is 6 feet down. I'm like, oh my God. Wow, I should have jumped down in the ditch and showed you how deep. I'm 6'4", right? So you're going to be driving, Montreal, been up to Montreal before, Chicago, areas people drive, and you've got to know how to drive defensively. You've got to be safe. You got to drive within the speed limit. If you can't maintain the correct highway speed, you got to get over to the right. The right is slower moving traffic. Son and I went through Chicago. I drove to Iowa. My son drove back. Chicago was a monster because of the traffic and the volume. And then you have toll roads. That's a whole new deal too. So listen, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate all of you. Have a great, blessed Christmas. I'll probably hop on tomorrow. If you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel, Driving with the Myles. Tell your friends. Thank you for the thumbs up. I love you and appreciate you. And happy holidays. Thanks for the support, all of you. Bye.